Sands of time, we're rolling, baby.
Welcome back to
How you doing,
the
Keith?
show. Good. I'm good. It's like the weather's great outside, and
It's beautiful.
It's just an amazing week so far. So we are in week 2 of our series Unoffendable. You were not here last week.
No, but that's okay. I'm not offendable.
You're not offended.
I'm already good on this.
You're unoffended.
No,
by,
try me, Keith.
by
You
that.
can't offend me.
No, I know I can't offend you. You're just a happy-go-lucky kind of individual. So, week 2 of being unoffendable, and really, what's interesting is I'm gonna kind of subtitle this one, "Be unsurprised when you're uninvited or not invited."
Ooh.
Okay. So this is really like about, if people out there are throwing a party, having a good time, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you're not invited. Okay. And what's very interesting about this too is, so I'm a big, I dive into the social media world, right? Okay. And, there's all these posts from people that, there's probably dozens in the past couple of weeks that I've read of like, hey, am I a jerk for not going to my sister's wedding when I found out my son wasn't invited?
Oh, the no kid, adult only wedding.
Yeah, or maybe they just don't like that kid, right? Like, it's older adults getting married, like remarried or whatever.
I read a great article about this recently. I really agreed with the author on the article because the article was on etiquette, and this was one of the questions somebody'd ask about with etiquette, with the exclusivity of invite lists for weddings. And I don't even know why this made the cut, but I really liked it. The guy writing the article was saying that it's all about consistency. So etiquette-wise, people should respect if there's no children allowed at all.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
the event, right? It would be like a bar or restaurant that doesn't allow minors in, regardless of whether they're with their parents.
Yep.
That's the exclusivity of the event.
Sure.
And then the only allowable deviation from that is ones that have a participating part in the event. Ring bearers, flower girl, right?
Right.
They're excluded from the exclusivity of the invite,
Sure.
right? And what the article said, if you're going to do that, you just have to stick to it. You can't make any exceptions, because. So anyway, that was the etiquette. The etiquette said you're within the realms of acceptable etiquette unless you make caveats.
So if the bride side of the family invites all the aunts and uncles, then from the groom side of the family, you should invite all the aunts and uncles.
Correct. Yep.
Right. So just make sure that it's equitable. What's interesting about this one post was that the people getting married, they're older, right? And they're getting married, and so the bride's daughter was in her mid-30s, had a son, early teens, was not invited. Don't know why. There wasn't really any information in there, which makes me think it's kind of suspicious anyways, because the person posting it doesn't tell us why, which, he could just be a big troublemaker. We don't know, right? Yeah. And then she was supposed to be in the wedding. She was supposed to be in her mom's wedding. Canceled, right? Because her son was uninvited to the
not
the
invited
wedding.
or uninvited?
Not
Ooh,
invited.
busy. Hey,
Right? Because I'm saying uninvited, but I just mean like not invited.
Well, I know,
right?
but uninvited, that's like
uninvited. Is
you
really
were invited,
terrible.
now you
and
can't
it's like
come.
Yank.
Yeah.
No, I just mean like uninvited.
Uninvited.
No, I'm sorry, not invited.
Yeah,
in the
uninvited.
first place,
You gotta notify the bouncer. Like, this person has been uninvited.
They were invited. They showed up, but now they're not. And I'm so amazed at people's inability to enjoy someone else's moment on the terms that they want that moment to be enjoyed in. Okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know you are the kind of guy that enjoys seeing other people have fun, see other people,
Yeah. Well, we talked about, you and I talked about this off air the other day. And people may not think I'm being sincere, but I don't have any, I don't really experience the emotion of jealousy, really.
Yeah.
Ever.
I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, people like I don't like ever come across something that somebody else has that I'm like, I want that, and I don't like them because they have it.
And I don't like them because of it.
I don't have that emotion. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
But you have the emotion of like, ooh. Like, I'll give you a great example.
Ooh, that car's really nice. I bet the oil change is expensive, right?
Like a few years ago, you drove by the house. I had my Ego, wireless battery operated trimmer and blower, and you stopped and you were like, "Hey, do you like those?"
Yeah. Well, that was more. That was like Consumer Reports.
Yeah. I was like, you saw something, and you're like, "I've been thinking about that." I bet. Let me find out if he enjoys.
I've been in the electric string trimming. I wonder if you were wearing shoes that day.
Probably not.
Okay. I was in the market for battery powered lawn care equipment. And then all of a sudden I saw someone that I knew that I could respect their Consumer Reports opinion on.
But see, you don't. And I do that too. Like I can see somebody with something and go, "Ooh, that looks nice." Like I kind of wish I could have that, but I'm not to the jealous point of like, now I don't want you to have it.
Man, Keith has all the nice electronics.
What I mean? Like the guy down the street, a couple doors down, has a pool, and it looks nice. It looks nice when it's like 100 degrees outside. And I'm sweating in the backyard, and I like look down, and like the kids are playing, everybody's having a good time in a pool of water, which I don't currently have in my house. But I don't get jealous of it. Like I'm like, ooh, we should get a pool.
Ooh, I'm getting the hose out.
Right, or whatever, right? But like I don't get so envious of it that I don't want that.
And are jealousy and envy two different things?
I mean, technically, I guess they are because they're two different words.
That was the lamest rationalization.
Ooh, that was a good one. Anyway,
all right. So we're gonna not get jealous. I don't get FOMO either. You know, the kids.
I get FOMO big.
The old fear of missing out.
Oh, I get FOMO big.
Oh, you know how and I don't know. Maybe we're gonna get into this, but I just I guess I call it self-confidence. Maybe there's more derogatory terms for it, but I don't know. The party's happening when I get there. I don't know.
Oh, I see where you're
I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I'm always
like how much fun could I be missing out on? I'm not there yet. You know?
I just always figure if it's at the point of it being fun, I probably already missed out.
Ooh.
Because a party, you can only have so much fun at a party for so long.
Yeah.
So if somebody's like, bro, you should come over, we're having a great time, I'm kind of like, well, how long you been having a great time for? Because I probably already missed out.
Yeah.
I probably already missed the boat. I'm cool. I'm going to stay here. Right? You know what I mean? All right. So we're kind of wrapping this this episode under the story of Jesus sending his disciples out. So he's here.
Yep.
So he's like, he calls on the 12 disciples and says, "Hey, in pairs, I want you to go out, and I want you to spread the word, right?
Yep.
Spread the message, okay?" And
let's be clear, this is like the practice run.
This is like a practice run.
What, like pre-crucifixion, not like
this is not the
Great Commission.
The Great Commission.
This is like
okay, guys, get together. Here's some Holy Spirit.
Let's try it out.
Go talk to people. Go cure some people. And then come back and tell me how it goes.
Yeah, it's like the 2-week probation thing.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
you may not make the cut. Okay, sorry.
So I want to first I want to start with Mark 6, 8 through 9, he says, these were his instructions. Take nothing for the journey except a staff. No bread, no bag, no money in your belts. Wear sandals, but not an extra shirt.
I've packed like that before.
Yeah, I've been more of a shoe guy lately, but...
Sandals. Oh, not the sandals. No, sorry. Closed-toe footwear.
So I want to stop on this for a minute, and there's the obvious portion of it, which is take nothing for the journey except for staff, no bread, no bag, no money in your belts, right? So he's saying you don't need that stuff, right? The people that you come across will provide for you because God will provide for you. God will provide through people that you're going to meet on the journey. You don't need that. But he says you need two things. You need a staff and your sandals. Okay? Now, so I've been thinking about this all night long.
Okay.
Like all night long. I have 3 pages written in a journal about it. To me, there's this undertone to it where, so a staff, like a walking staff, kind of similar to a shepherd's crook, a little different, but same kind of imagery, okay, is to help you walk, right? So in the terrain, if the path was easy and flat, you would need a staff, right?
Correct.
So it's going to be a hard road
that
they're going to go on, and they need some kind of support for that hard road. So I really think the staff is
symbolic,
both literal and symbolic of the help that they are going to need, right? So that they can, in those tough times, they can lean on
nice
this staff to help them through, okay? Now, the sandals, right? You got to be comfortable when you walk. You're not going to go barefoot.
I think it's very similar to your staff. I can build on your staff concept. It's you can only make it so far with an unprotected foot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the journey's going to be long.
Yeah. Yeah.
The journey's
This isn't go next door.
The journey's going to be long. You're going to be clipping off some miles.
Yeah.
Journey's going to be long. Take some support.
Mm-hmm.
And something that the sandals are a necessity for extending the journey.
Yeah, I agree completely. So I read that last night and it kind of stuck in my brain because most people talk about, the not needing food and not needing all that kind of stuff, that it would be provided, right? But I just really keyed it for some reason. I just keyed in on those two things. So, I don't know. I really liked it. Anyways, so it continues on in Mark 6:11. Whenever you enter a house, stay there until you leave that town. If any place will not welcome you or listen to you, leave that place and shake the dust off your feet as a testimony against them.
Show up.
Say what you got to say. Now, here's the question.
Be kind, courteous.
Be kind,
humble,
be courteous. If they don't listen to you.
And truthful.
If they don't listen to you, shake the dust off your feet and get a move on. Now, does that sound like very modern day good guy Jesus-y to you? Like, hey, don't if they don't want to listen, don't waste your time. Right? Like, don't sit there and try to convince them of anything. Just shake your feet off. Go to the next house.
I'm gonna say, well, I think we've in evangelistic culture, maybe we sometimes misconstrue how being convicted and firm in our faith and our foundation and being a shining light and representative of how to live like Jesus, we sometimes misconstrue that into browbeating and demanding and strong-arming somebody into the same convictions. I think Jesus is saying it's personal decision to follow him. If you show up with your humility and your conviction and your filled with the Spirit, but if it's not being received, there's other places it will be.
Yeah.
So, spend your time with those willing to receive the good news that you have.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think
it's yes. I think sometime in common culture they're like, I don't think it sounds as. I think the shake the dust off and move along is more of like a motivational, inspirational thing than a
don't get upset with all the no's
he didn't say
and go ways.
Yeah, he didn't say kick dirt on home plate and argue with the umpire, then storm off.
Right.
He didn't say get kicked out of the game. He said, knock the dust off, like just put that behind you, right? Don't get discouraged. Because those you're bringing the word to aren't receptive, maybe it's not the time for them to be receptive.
Yeah.
Maybe you planted a seed and it's going to grow unreceived until maybe the next conversation they have 2, 3, 5 years from now, has the opportunity to be received later just because it's not being received now.
Yeah. I would say that I think it's really twofold. I think that the message of, and last week we kind of talked about this a little bit, which was, you can forgive somebody of hurting you. It doesn't mean that hurt goes away, right? It still exists, right? Okay. And it's kind of similar here where, just because you're going to proclaim to somebody how God has impacted your life doesn't mean that they're willing to listen or understand it, right? And so you can't, to your point, you can't beat them up about it, right? And be negative and like yell at them and you're going to hell or whatever, right? You just and move on.
Yeah, you got to let them know you're on this journey, and they're not uninvited. They're invited. Everybody's invited. You
just got to go.
Yeah. They don't got to come on the journey with you. They can start the journey at their own pace.
And I think the other portion of it that you have to look at is, there were several times where, somebody would go to Jesus and say, "Hey, I want to follow you," right? Or he would say, "Hey, come follow me." But then I got to do this first, and I got to do this, and I got to do this, and go. If that's more important to you, go do what you got to do. I'm going.
Yeah. I think a good evangelical stance to have is to realize how very small we are, in God's plan, and how very minuscule we are in the influence. Like sometimes I think we put too much pressure on our capabilities, our abilities, and whenever I can't let Jesus into your heart, right? That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So you can't put pressure on yourself. Like no man has ever saved another man, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Right. So, some people could say, I was saved by Billy Graham. No. Right. No. Right. Like, no,
that's not how it works.
That's a hard no. That's not how it works. So you got to recognize that. Yeah.
If we could just save one person with these track cards, it'll be all worth it.
Well, if one person gets saved, that's great, but it wasn't.
You didn't do it.
You didn't do it,
right? And so, I think about that, and I also think about when Jesus says, "Hey, if people hate you, don't worry, they hated me first. Like not everybody liked Jesus and his message, right? And so you have to consider that as well in terms of, and that's the man Jesus doing the talking. We're 2,000 years later. Not everybody's going to like you or your message. And so really spend time and effort and influence on the people that you can put time and effort and influence into, and shake it off when you're told no and go away.
Shake it off.
That's a little Taylor Swift reference.
Yeah.
Is that still a thing? Taylor Swift's, like coming into Kansas City, people still talking about that?
I don't know. I wish if I was a radio show and a DJ, I would have been able to hit a button and play a little
right?
Play a little shake it off here.
If we'd planned this better.
Yeah, but then we get kicked off the internet.
Right. Yeah, so I think about that, and I think about this concept of not being invited, and we both have kids. One of mine's going into middle school. Mm-hmm. One of yours is in middle school.
Oh, yeah.
Right. One of the hardest times I think in my life was like middle school, junior high. High school was a lot easier. Had a network of friends and stuff, but especially when you're transitioning from one school to another school, where here, you have 4 elementary schools, 5, that then funnel into one middle school, right? And so the friends that you might have had in elementary school, you may not have in that class again.
Yep.
Right. It's not like junior high, you've got friends, and then you're like, oh, going into high school, what class you taking, what class you taking, who you taking it with, right? And you can kind of manipulate some of that to get in with your friends. You're being shoved into potentially a classroom where you know nobody again, right? Plus all the weird, you're either growing super tall over summer or you didn't grow super tall over summer.
Yeah, so all the kids out there listening are going through this stuff. Here's my advice. Be you and be the fun that you want to be. Be the good time. Don't worry about missing out on good times. Have good times. Be present in the moment. And don't be concerned about, I know, and that's hard to say whenever.
That's hard to say.
That's retrospectively looking at things. But
I would say the first part is just be yourself.
In you. Be confident in you, and
because one day you can only not be yourself for so long before it wears on you, right?
Yeah.
So it's just easier to be yourself and find the people that accept you for who you are, and form that new friend group that way. I would say they're a loss, right? Like, as individuals, we have so much to give to other people that if you are finding yourself in a situation where there's a group of people that don't want to interact with you, well, then that's their loss. Mm-hmm. It's not your loss.
It's almost kind of like parallels forgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. Like, not forgiving someone, and just think about it like a small slight or something, mm-hmm. Like harboring anger, a grudge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of.
I got some good grudges.
Yeah, think of some grudges and unforgiveness. It's kind of like that. Mm-hmm. Like, the only person that's hurting is you. Your angry grudginess isn't actually negatively affecting the person that slighted you.
Yeah, because they may not even know that they slighted you.
Exactly.
They may think everything's just fine.
Yeah. So,
or like, I don't know, Keith's just being weird. He's like always angry at me all the time. So I'm just walking away. I'm not dealing with that guy. I would exactly say that. Is that if there's this party out there, if you're a middle schooler and you don't get invited to this party that quote unquote everybody's going to, well, go find the people that weren't invited and go have a party on your own.
Yeah.
And it's their loss for not having you at the shindig.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think that's tough. I think that when you...
Are you an includer? In your strengths?
No,
Talking strengths, is includer up there?
No. Is there a
Discluder?
uninclude yourself strength? Just yourself, not an excluder of other people, but an excluder of yourself. That would be my strength. So, back in college, we took this personality test, right? And I don't remember what the personality test was, the name of it, or anything like that, right? But you're a freshman coming in college.
Yep.
They're trying to teach you. Everybody has different personalities.
Yeah.
And you should okay. So we take this test. There's 32 different personalities.
Myers-Briggs?
I don't know. Maybe when I tell you what I was. So I was the extroverted introvert.
Yeah, Myers-Briggs.
Okay. So it's not the rarest one, but it's on the bottom of it. And so my personality type, and this fits me to a Keith, is that I seem extroverted to people. Because I can carry on a conversation with anybody at any time. That I'm talkative, I'm loud, I like wave at people, I thumbs up. But really, in essence, I'd rather just be by myself.
Mm-hmm. It's not life. That's not life-giving to you. Yeah. So you can fake the extroversion. Not that you're faking it.
Not that I'm faking it,
but it drains gas out of your tank.
Correct.
Some people are there. Some people are there when they're being extroverted. They're just standing there at the fuel pump, just filling it up, baby.
Yeah.
This is the best
party ever.
You know.
But me, I'm like 2 hours, 3 hours deep into the party, and I'm like, I gotta go.
I gotta recharge.
Yeah.
Drains your battery.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I think about that, and I think about, there's a lot of kids that I know that are like that, right? Like they actually really get more energy from not going to the party and all that kind of stuff. So, if that's you out there, don't worry.
Hey, you
can be like that.
I took a fun personality test.
Yeah.
Recently, I too enjoy the personality test.
I do too. Not the test that's like, which dog are you?
No, like legit psychological evaluation.
Legitimate ones. Yeah.
So I've done the 16 personalities, which is like a condensed Myers-Briggs. I think if you can expand it to like a positive negative version and end up with 32. There's the DISC survey, which is kind of like how you may function at the workplace. We just know as staff, we just did a working genius thing. Yeah. We'll probably talk about that in the future. Maybe. We'll bring that into our vocabulary sometime. Maybe not. We have strengths, which we use in our vocabulary. We use that a lot. Clifton strengths. And I just took one called the color code.
Oh.
And it's interesting.
What color are you?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute.
Purple.
It's interesting in there because it's all based, it's like 45 questions, like the easy free test, like 45 questions. It's all about how you behaved as a child.
Oh.
Right?
Wow.
So I wanted to be accurate, so I called my mom.
Right. Did you have your mom take the test for you?
Well, we took it together. Okay, I would ask her the question.
You'd be like, this is what I think it was. No.
I was like, how do you feel about this? And then, and like some of the answers, she was like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? Yeah. So anyway, but there's four basic, the four colors, and it's all what it is it tries to extrapolate your primary motivation. We're all motivated by different things, but there's one that trumps the rest, right?
Okay, yeah.
So red is power, primary motivator. So if you're primarily red, you're motivated by power. Mm-hmm. White, you're motivated by peace.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So white, motivated by peace, think like a surrender flag, right? Like motivated by peace. Blue, motivated by intimacy, connection, intimacy. And then the fourth major color is yellow. That's what I was.
What's yellow?
You want to take a stab at it?
Fun?
Yeah. Motivated by fun.
That's kind of weird. Why is yellow fun?
I don't know.
It'd be like green.
But it's awesome.
Green seems more fun than yellow. What's the funnest color you can think of?
I think it's got to be some version of,
like if you walked into a room and it was painted a certain color, you'd be like, wow, this is fun.
I think yellow's a good choice.
You think?
Because it's got to be somewhere between, it's got to be on that spectrum, right? Like red, I can see why they chose red for the power, right? Red
and white makes sense.
Yeah, but then and blue's cool, right?
Okay.
Cool, So I think fun is a higher energy. It's got to be
the sun.
Yeah,
is yellow. The sun's fun.
I owned it.
Okay.
I owned it. So that was a new one. If you want to do color code
Mitch.
out there, I thought it was fun.
Well,
so that's why
thought it was
that's
fun.
why I took the test. I was motivated by the fun.
And you got assured.
Yeah. If you're a red, if you're out there right now and you are motivated by power and you don't want to be put in you don't want it to tell you you're motivated by power. You want to tell it.
Yeah.
Then don't take the test. Just say I'm red.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up.
Sorry.
It's the sands of time. And yeah, I would. My advice. I'm gonna also say this, right? I am the kind of person, even though I'm introverted, my wife can attest, and if she doesn't, I'll argue this with her. I am also a person that's like, hey, we haven't talked to this person, we haven't hung out with this person, or maybe you haven't seen your parents in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. Let's go see your parents. Let's go see this person. Let's go see that person. So even though I'm not in my strengths, I'm not a relationship kind of person. I understand how important it is to continue to foster those relationships. And so for me, I'm an inviter of people. Like if I'm doing, and this actually does annoy my wife quite a bit, is I'll be like, ooh, hey, pork butts are on sale. We should get a double pack, cook a bunch of pork, have a bunch of people over. And she's like, no. Right? Okay. But see, like I'm an includer. Like the moment that, and I'm really not personality wise, but like if we're going to have people over, I don't just do, let's just have these people over per se. It's like, well, let's bring that whole friend group
You
together.
are an includer. It's high. I guarantee it's a high strength.
Maybe. And because I understand the value of the relationship, but I also have a rule, when this is the introverted part, is if I invite you to like 2 or 3 things and you don't come or you ghost me, I don't really want to include you anymore. Because I tried 2 or 3 times.
Is this an intervention? Is this a warning?
Mitchell. No, I don't think I've personally invited you.
I was waiting for that to come out on the air.
Only one thing. I think I've only personally was like, you need to come to this.
Yeah.
To just once, because I know you'll say, yeah, that sounds great. I won't be there. Anyways, thanks for joining us this week. Next week,
I want to put my rubber stamp on the end of this.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I think to wrap it up, I really liked what you're saying about. I think what Jesus says is when you're operating in spreading his message of love and patience and peace and kindness out into the world, and you're going out to be the light. If someone doesn't want your light to shine upon them, don't stand there and give them a sunburn. Shake off the dust and move along.
Don't give them a sunburn. I love it.
And I think on the flip side of that too is just socially speaking, don't get all wrapped up what you're not doing. Spend more time in what you are doing.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
That's great.
Love you guys.
Later.